All right, so I'm going to continue with something here that I've been working on my bucket list, which is my how to play golf series. And just shooting this off the cuff, but I've come up with, at least I would call it, a good basic plan to learn if you're a total beginner, and also a refresher course if you call yourself an experienced player. No matter what you shoot or what score you shoot, what course you've played, there's certain things that I've observed over 20 some odd years of playing golf that I would like to say would apply to everyone that plays, regardless of how good they are. And I don't know if you're reading this and you want to laugh or snark or whatever, but I would hope that you would agree, that we as a golf community would agree on what I'm saying. And if I'm wrong, or if you feel that I've left something out or just gotten something completely wrong, please send me a comment. Let me know, because I also am trying to be a better player, better golfer. And I think it's not just about performance. I've seen a lot of good players be total douchebags on a golf course. I've seen a lot of players who weren't good be, let's say, less than considerate players on a golf course. And I just like to kind of touch on some basic things which I think will get most, if not all of us, on and off the course, happy with a good round behind us, and improving our skills and becoming better players in both the ability to hit good shots and the ability to be good people to play golf with. So I'm going to run through these, I guess, slides. I've thought a lot about the whole graphical thing. I mean, some of the graphical stuff, 3D stuff that's out there is really impressive. But what really irks me about a lot of it is this, don't do that kind of mentality. It just doing flashy shorts or videos of, expensive courses, it doesn't really do the issue a service. Everybody has their concerns and everything, but taking a narrow look at golf, to just say, oh, I now have a channel, and oh, I now am going to show you how my playing and my shot making or anything like that. I don't think that's really serving the community as a whole. But to each his own. Let's see where we land in the larger scheme of things. So let me just stick to the basics for right now that I would like to say. And one of the issues that a lot of people have commented on my videos for without a doubt is this issue of playing tees. What tees should one play? In golf, the PGA has done us a favor to generate for us something called the National Course Rating Database. This is an actual PGA Tour product. You can look it up on the internet, and it will show you the list of known, I would say, reported. This is a self-reported phenomenon where each golf course management team is supposed to report, or can report to the PGA administration, the slope, course rating, and bogey rating for every course that they manage. So for a given, how this works is, for a given course, whatever the course name is, I could show an example here. I guess I could, but maybe I'll drop some slides in for that. Every course has what's called a slope rating, a bogey rating, and a course rating. And that is more or less what the course administration thinks it should be based upon its evaluation of the course. Now, not every course reports these things, but a lot of courses do. And you look on the scorecard for a course, usually it'll be on the scorecard somewhere. It's not always on the scorecard, but usually on the scorecard they'll show the yardage for the course for each hole from all the tees that it has on the course, which could be anywhere from the gold tees, red tees, white tees, the blue tees, and black tees, for example. Let's say that's pretty fairly general. So what you can do when you play, and what you should do when you play, is note the yardage, the total yardage, the par for the course, the slope for the course, for the tees, for the individual tees, and this is going to be on an individual tee basis. It changes for each tee as you move farther back away from the green on each hole. Slope rating, course rating, and bogey rating for those tees that you're playing or you're thinking about playing. And the course rating is what a quote-unquote scratch golfer would shoot on those tees for that course. The bogey rating is what a player who shoots 1 over par would shoot for that course. Now, this is going to be introducing a little bit of funk in this because your scratch rating, your bogey rating, and so forth. Bogey rating is pretty straightforward. It's 1 over par for every hole. Okay, scratch is a handicap, and course rating is for a player who is a scratch handicap relative to the average course scratch player score, which is supposed to be par. So the scratch rating is based upon the whole handicap system, but each course will be like +1 or +2 shots per round compared to a normal scratch rating course. And this is all kind of circular and so forth, but you can basically take the course rating is what somebody who normally shoots par would score on that course. Okay, and bogey rating is what somebody who normally shoots 1 over par per hole would score in that course over 18 holes. The slope rating, likewise, is a synthetic number that basically gives you a relative difficulty of that course relative to a normal course, which whatever normal course actually is. And I'll admit that I'm not exactly pin accurately on the details here, but this is generally how it works. So if you play a slope 120T, that's going to be harder than a slope 110T, which is harder than a slope 100T, slope 130T, 140T, and so forth and so on. Normally, you will find that the hardest tees that you'll find on a public course are in the slope 130 range. Some courses have a slope 140 tees, some have 145, 150, 155 tees, and usually these tees are exceptionally difficult to play for even a scratch player. They're still going to pick up about 10 strokes over the course of the round. So you can sort of look at the National Course Rating Database. You can look at Golf Now or look at the course website, pick up the slope rating, CR and BR, and figure out how difficult that course is at each tee relative to other tees on other courses. And that's the whole point. Okay, so aside from that background, which I probably should walk through to some degree and might even be worth a video on its own, the issue is, when should one play a certain set of tees at what rating? And I will tell you this, for the only tees that I am even aware of people saying that they shouldn't play unless they're a scratch golfer are the back tees on the course. I have my own personal philosophy about that, which I will not go into at this point. My point here is just to cover the basics of playing any tee on any course. Okay, there's certain fundamental ground rules that one should learn to play any tee on any course. Okay, and the number one thing I think that you should not worry about, and people do not worry about 90% of the time, is whether they can break 80 on a particular set of tees. Okay, that is just some foggy seaman's kind of fable or concern, like, having women on a boat in the first place is supposed to bring bad luck, or other superstitious kind of things. People play tees all the time from which they can't break 80. 80 is just 8 strokes over par. That's half of the course that you shot +1 on relative to par. Trust me, if that was the rule, nobody would be playing golf. It just wouldn't happen. Okay, you wouldn't be playing on the course, because the only point, if you're going to look at handicap or score, is that you have to start somewhere. You have to play a course, establish your handicap. You can't have a handicap without actually playing on a course. So how are you going to start off with a scratch handicap? You're always going to shoot over par if you're 90% of the population of people who play golf. So let's just move on past this, okay? You will play golf, you will get experience, and you will understand what courses you can play and not play, what holes you can play and not play, and how to deal with issues like excessively long carries off the tee or excessively tight and difficult greens to put on. You have to learn how to deal with this, and I'm going to show you how to deal with this. Okay. First thing is, don't worry about distance. Trust me, it would just fuck up your head. Okay, it'll fuck up your entire approach to playing golf. Do not worry about distance. Worry about keeping the ball on the course, whether that's the fairway, the rough, the sand, whatever. As long as you can play your ball when you hit it, you go out and wander around the course, you find your ball and play it, you're doing fine. Okay, that's the number one thing. You're going to get better as you have experience and you learn better techniques and practice. Do not worry about people saying, "Oh, I only hit, my 7-iron 100 yards. I only hit my 9-iron 50 yards. I can only hit my pitching wedge 20 yards." Don't worry about that. Worry about hitting it somewhere where it's going to land in play. First, last, and foremost. If you go chasing distance off your shots, you're going to spend a lot of time hitting a lot of balls in the woods or topping the ball and hitting it 10 yards, which is devastating when you're trying to cross a lateral hazard, okay? Or same thing with the driver. There are certain distances that you will learn that you can clear on a reliable basis. You won't be able to clear 280 off the tee. Very rarely are you ever going to see a carry that's 280 off the tee. For now, let's just assume that you don't have a carry off the tee, and all you have to do is hit the ball straight ahead of you in the play somewhere between the right boundary of the rough and the left boundary of the rough, somewhere on the course. As long as you find your ball, you're doing just fine. So that's 10 minutes on this one slide, okay, which I think is a huge issue because you are going to get pressure from people telling you that you should be hitting better or playing better or hitting longer. You're always going to run into some pinhead on a golf course is going to tell you that you should be playing better and how to play better, okay? You have to learn how to fend these people off and just play your game. Okay, it'll be all kinds of tips, all kinds of trips and everything that you really do not want or need when you're just learning how to play. And a lot of people never learn that. They never learn not to be obnoxious on a golf course. So I'm putting this all in there. So the next thing we want to say is, let's see here. Number one, you're gonna learn. Everybody should learn this. You should alternate range time with course time. You should focus on playing a certain set of clubs. Get yourself a set of clubs that you can play with, even if they're cheap clubs on eBay. Don't worry about it. It's just a starter set of clubs. Do not spend a lot of money on your first set of clubs. Okay, you're going to learn all the details about how to set up your clubs. You're going to learn all the details about what clubs you should hit. You have so much time to learn and so much stuff. Your first set of clubs can't be about getting you the best set of clubs. Okay, it just can't be. It's like buying your first car. You just want something that rolls and isn't going to leave you stranded in the middle of the desert somewhere. Okay, so let's say over time, while you're learning, you're playing range clubs or you're playing course clubs for the time being until you get yourself a set of clubs. Okay, take them out on the range. Try to get a handle on how they hit. Different clubs hit differently, different setups hit differently. You are going to learn that you need to have your own set so that you get a consistent performance out of the clubs, not based upon how well you hit them, but on how they specifically hit. The shaft, club face, club hit, all this stuff is going to affect the way you play the game. So you need something standard. Okay. In the beginning through the first chapter of Genesis, let's say, or the Old Testament, let's say, you're going to learn more from hitting on the range than you're going to learn from playing on a course. It's just that simple. So you want to spend more time on a range than hitting balls and chasing them in the woods on a golf course where you're almost always going to hit 120 or something the first round that you play, let's just say, for the first year. It took me 10 years to to get down under 100. Let's put it that way. And that was because, like I said, I spent a whole lot of time chasing distance instead of chasing control. When I began to really break 100 and started to understand how a shot here or a shot there could make or break me breaking 100, and how like I might have to just tighten up or might, just get worried too much about breaking 100, and my score and everything would cause me to tighten up, my swing to tighten up, my brain to tighten up, everything. The next thing you know, I'm +3 over the next 3 holes. You start to learn the difference between playing for score and just playing, and playing to play your shots, your game. One of the things you'll learn is you cannot play well if you're focusing on your score, just as you cannot play well as you're focusing on your distance. The only thing that can help you to play well is to focus on the shot right in front of you, forgetting the shot behind you, and forgetting the shots in front of you. You have to focus in a moment on the shot that you're taking and just relax and swing the club. Do not get over anxious about the shot. You cannot worry about hitting a bad shot so much that the only shots you can hit are bad shots. Okay? And the way that you get this comfortableness and comfort in this relaxed zone and learn how to play decent shots is going to the range. Unfortunately, you need to take the time to go to a range for an hour to take a bucket of 100 balls and take a couple of clubs, maybe 3 at the most, out there. You can take your set out there, but don't pull more than 3 clubs, and hit the same freaking club over and over and over and over. You're going to reach a point where you're frustrated, and you're going to reach a point where you have a limited amount of benefits from taking each shot, but you are going to learn more by focusing on one club at a time and hitting 25, 30 shots with it than switching through all the clubs in your bag and hitting 10 shots. The other thing is, don't hit shots too quickly. On a golf course, you are going to hit roughly 5 to 8 strokes over 15 minutes. If you're hitting 8 strokes over 15 minutes, that's 2 minutes per shot. You need to get somewhere close to that when you practice. You do not want to get out there and start cranking balls off every 15, 20, 30 seconds. That is absolute not how to improve your swing. Okay. The second thing is, let's talk about keeping the ball in play, or what happens if you do not keep the ball in play. Like I said before, number one, you're going to hit some bad shots. You got to learn some tolerance for hitting bad shots. You got to learn some tolerance for hitting bad shots in front of your friends. You got to learn some tolerance for hitting bad shots in front of strangers. Absolute strangers who stand there, maybe see you hit a bad shot and shake their head or tisk or whatever. You've got to learn some tolerance for hitting bad shots in public. Okay? Second, you have to learn how to deal with hitting bad shots in public so that it doesn't break you mentally and just cause you to just fall completely out of your game. And my suggestion is this. Number one, go out and buy yourself 16 balls, 12 balls, whatever, before you play around. Number two, make sure those balls are cheap. Never buy balls from the right hand side of the rack if you go to Walmart or Target or whatever. Never. And number three, never buy balls at a pro shop at a golf course. Okay, this is the benefit of going to a range and spending $10 to $15 to play 100 balls. You're paying like 10 cents a ball to hit. Okay, you need that same kind of cheapness, because what you're going to do when you can't find your ball is either spend 15 minutes looking for it, or you're going to drop a ball in play in the fairway, not where you lost your ball or where it went out of bounds. You're going to play from the fairway to recover. Okay. The problem with playing, in rough or in waste or whatever, out of, these just make the shots 5 times harder to do it. And you're just as likely to hit a bad shot or lose a ball that you found, okay, the next time you hit, when you try to hit from out of the waist. Leave that towards way later, once you get to the point where you've practiced hitting balls that you found in bad conditions like waste or long rough or off the cart path or off the gravel and rocky gravel and stuff where you really don't want to play it anyway because it's going to just damage your clubs. Wait, that will come. For a start, you hit a ball off a bad, and it lands in a bad place. Even if you find it, even if it, especially if you don't find it within like 2 minutes of looking. I mean, like you don't walk out there, see it, walk around in a circle and find it. That's it. Okay, no more than a minute of looking. Drop a ball in the fairway and play on. Trust me, you will be so happy. That's already going to be hard enough because it's not going to be as far as you want it to be. So you're already adding at least a stroke right there. Okay, so cheap balls in abundance out on the fairway, and don't worry about the ball that you lost. Just move on, okay? One of the major skills that you have to have when learning to play golf is to learn how to forget about or drop off or slough off bad shots in your past. So now at most courses you'll find a range which you can buy balls and play, or they give you balls, they give you a ticket or something at better courses. But you also will find a chipping and putting green, and I would say definitely practice a few 30 minutes, maybe or so, putting the ball across the green from one end of the green to a pin on the other end of the green. That will help you to understand how balls change direction, which is what they call the lie of the course, or the lie of the green, and learn how to read that lie and learn how to control your distance and get the ball. You want to get it somewhere close to the pin on the other side of the green. Playing the 6-foot putts is not going to help you much, honestly. It just won't. It just doesn't. The course is not going to have the same speed on the putting green as you do on the course, and the lies are going to be different. It's something you pick up over practice, is making short putts. What you want to learn, first of all, is how to putt a ball long distance, 20, 30 feet across the green, and have it stop somewhere close to the pin. That is going to keep you from three putting just as much as making short putts will, because you haven't given yourself a 15, 20-foot putt after your first putt. All right, so we kind of covered that one in the other order. All right, so the other thing I guess I should mention here is don't worry about hitting great shots. Just worry about playing without worrying about the shot that you just hit, and without worrying about the shots that you are going to have to hit going forward. If you're trying to hit a shot here on one place, and you're worried about hitting a good shot because otherwise the next shot is going to be harder, you're splitting your focus between the shots you're trying to hit now and the shot that you want to hit later. And that is a really good way to miss the shot that you're trying to hit now. Focus on where you want the ball to go. Okay, I walk up to a ball, I've decided my shot, I've decided what club I'm going to hit. Now I'm going to focus on the shot I'm hitting right now. Okay? Right now. You decide what you want and then forget it and focus on the shot that you're going to hit right now. The line, the swing, the ball, the lie, all that stuff. You have to focus on all of that stuff. If you're halfway into the shot that you are trying to get to, you're not going to get there. Almost guaranteed you're not going to get there. So let's just focus on the shots you're taking now and stop worrying about hitting bad shots, because they're not bad shots. They're just situations that need to be managed from shot to shot to shot. Bad is all subjective, and you worry about it, you're just going to screw up your game. So just move on from all that. I kind of covered this slide. I'm going to move on. Not a problem if you recover well from hitting a bad shot. It's not bad unless you don't recover from it well. The key to a good game is not distance. It is control. Every shot will do you put you in a better position relative to your previous lie. If not, drop a ball and play on. Covered that already, in great depth. Let's see. We want to get rid of that one here. Okay, covered range time issue. There's ranges at the course. There's ranges around your home, somewhere that you can go play, practice on. So ultimately, what we have to talk about is distance. At some point, we have to. At some point, okay. So what I'm going to say, and the few things that you need to know about distance is, number one, distance is always a function of the angle at which you hit the ball off the shot line that you're trying to hit. So if I want, say, 200 yards from a 3-iron to go to this particular part of the course, and I hit it 15 degrees offline, over to the left or to the right, okay, I might hit it 200 yards, but I've still got 50 yards to hit back to the point where I try to hit it from. Or I've added 50 yards to the point where I try to hit it from there. The shortest way to get around a course is to pick shots that get you more or less directly to the green and hit shots that go along that line to the green. Anything off that line is going to lengthen the course, lengthen the hole. So you do not want to hit balls offline. It's like first, last, and foremost. You want to hit balls online. You're going to stay out of trouble the most that way. You're going to have a better run to the green that way. You're going to have more confidence and more peace in your own mind. Hitting a ball 45 yards or 45 degrees offline and then trying to hit a 250-yard 3-wood back to correct, that just makes things really, really hard. You're just magnifying the number of times you're going to hit bad shots by doing that. So the key thing that you want to learn is how to hit half backswing shots straight. Then 3/4, what did I say here exactly? A half backswing is when your forearm is horizontal to the ground, okay? You might have some lag in which your wrists are cocked back from that line. That's what we call lag, and in general, you want to be able to carry that lag or learn how to manage that lag. So managing lag and releasing, these are additional terms and issues to deal with when taking shots. But the basic is you take a half swing so that your forearm is level with the ground, okay? The next thing is you take like a 3/4 swing so that your forearm is pointing up from the ground at about a 45-degree angle. And then you take a full swing where your forearm is pointing down at the ground, okay? Depending on how you have a straight arm or bent elbow or whatever, these are all kind of things that you'll work out. So what I would suggest is to just worry about taking these half swings, 3/4 swings, and full swings, and learning how to hit the ball at casual power, not hard, casual power, straight away off the tee. And I don't even use tees when hitting irons anymore. I stopped using tees because it was unrealistic when hitting my tee shots. I only hit tees when I hit my driver because I want to make sure I get the club head high enough off the ground, so I don't have to worry about hitting the ground when I swing driver. So that gets you into drivers and irons. Drivers, most important thing is to try to hit the ball level in the center of the club face as you swing out, and you can swing with more or less a flat swing. You bring the club down off your backswing and extend your arm towards the ball, and maybe you have a little lag from the wrist as you go through the ball. Okay. Irons, I tend to hit a steeper swing, try to bring the club from behind me through the ball, and again, a little bit of lag in the wrists there, and again, getting the blade under the ball. You don't want to hit such a fat shot that you hit the blade under the ball and take this giant divot, or the club suddenly stops or slows down dramatically as you go through the ball. You want it to come clean and free through the ball, and get the blade on the ball and get the blade up on the ball, up on the club face, and you can feel the difference when you get a good, powerful, clean contact with the ball. Okay. Straight, not far, straight. If you don't hit the ball straight, the distance just gets you into more trouble. If I hit a shot 45 degrees left, or I hook it because I've set the ball up too far in front of me or I'm swinging too far off my shot line. These are all issues we'll get into at some point later, trust me. All details, but you want that club coming through the ball more or less straight so that at least it goes reasonably straight. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but reasonably straight, and lands somewhere, ideally on the fairway, maybe on a rough, that's fine. Maybe in a trap is fine, but certainly not off the hole, off OB, off the sides, or way in the woods or something, or in a creek or whatever. You don't want that to happen. You want it to go reasonably straight. It is far better that you hit a club short and straight than long and way offline. The last thing you want is hitting the ball offline. You don't have to hit it perfectly every time, and there will be a growth process as you try to hit shots and fail. You will grow over time with practice, okay? But you can guarantee that you're going to hit some shots offline and lose them. You're going to guarantee that you're going to hit some shots long offline and lose them as you get better with golf. The key is to find the zone between simply wasting the shot. You know you're going to hit a bad shot. You know it's going to go offline, okay, because you're trying to swing too hard, and at least having a 75 or 50% chance of making a shot. There's a zone there. And there's the 75% chance of making it, there's the 50 to 75% chance of making it, and there's like a no chance of making it, okay? Where the odds are just way too high that you can hit the ball offline. No matter what you do, just walk up to where the ball is or where you think it went into the woods or whatever. Go back to the fairway and drop a ball. No matter how bad the shot is, your rescue is to get roughly where the ball went out of play and come back and drop a ball in the fairway. Move on from there, okay? Don't worry about it too much. Putting, likewise, similar thing with putting. There's all kinds of issues that can come up with putting. You can dig the blade of the putter in the ground, go into the ball. You can hit it offline. You can hit it off the toe, hit it off the heel. The putter can twist and so forth in your hands and become a real issue. All you really want to do is find the center mark of the putter and slide the putter across the ground, hit the ball, and not dig the putter or twist or hit it offline. Just get it somewhere near the hole. Not a big deal. You're not expected to make a putt. Trust me, putting is a lot harder than it seems. And even for pros, it's hard for them to make putts outside of 6 feet, even for pros, okay? So if you get it on your first putt too far away from the hole, you're pretty much going to have to make another 2 putts to get it in. But as beginning to intermediate players, just worry about the first putt. Just worry about where the first putt stops. You don't necessarily want it to stop right on the pin, but somewhere reasonably close. That's all you ask for, and you'll get it in from there. It all takes practice. It's all time. It all takes practice. Let's see. So at the end here, hopefully one theme has become clear here. The key to good golf is control. You will be fine on any course playing from any tee as long as you can keep the ball on the course. If you hit a shot and you don't see it lying on the ground, by now you already know what to do. Take a walk around the ball, see if you see the ball. If not, walk back to the fairway, drop the ball on the fairway. Drop the ball on the fairway. If you're past the fairway on the sides of the green, don't worry about it. Drop it in the rough. Take your shot up, okay? If it's a really tricky green, drop it on the green. Take your putt. You're learning to play. You don't have to play by strict pro rules on every hole. You don't have to be a scratch golfer on the course. You don't have to break 80. You don't have to break 90. You just want to play at a decent pace. You just want to keep the game moving. You don't want to be a problem in terms of holding up the rest of your group or holding up groups behind you. The way to avoid doing that and to keep all that bitching out of your ears that you're going to hear from other people is to sacrifice your ball and put a ball in a good place. Take the shot from there and don't take more than, say, 8 shots per hole. You're going to get 8 shots per hole to play with. Don't take a lot of time. Don't screw around in the course. Don't get upset. Don't panic. You've got 15 minutes to play the hole. Take your time up to that point and then move out of the way. Second thing is don't lounge around the green when you've played the hole. Take your cart or your stuff and move on to the next tee box or close to the tee box if someone's standing up there hitting. Don't walk onto a tee box or a tee zone while someone's hitting off the tee. Give them a little bit of distance and so forth. Stop somewhere in the middle between the green and the next tee box, and score your last hole from there. Don't make a lot of noise. Don't be talking on the phone really loud. Don't be playing music. The whole thing about playing music in carts is just asinine, in my opinion, honestly. And what amazes me is how people get so defensive and aggressive about it, knowing that it's pissing somebody off in front of them somewhere else in the course. And they're all up in their own shit about playing music. Hey, I'm out here playing golf, having a good time, man. We just want to play some music, blah, blah. The excuse of, I just want to do X, is the worst thing that's happened in the last 20 years, in my opinion, is people rationalizing being total assholes by saying they just want to do something that's supposedly not going to be an asshole thing to do. And of course, they're being a complete asshole about it. Happens on the golf course. Luckily, I haven't had to deal with that for about a good 9 months. Honestly, I haven't had to deal with people playing golf on the course, music on the course, and being assholes about it. Doesn't mean that won't happen. It will definitely happen, as people just kind of take that for granted when they're playing golf, that they can play music, and nobody should get upset about it. Nobody should be upset about anything they do because it's just golf. Okay, whatever. So anyway, you should be able to handle missing shots by now, dealing with that. Pretty much all the shit that happens on the golf course, it's important to let it just roll off your back if you're going to want to play your game, and have a good time and progress and so forth. It will not always be a pleasant experience. Trust me, there are going to be people on the course who are douchebags. It is important to understand in life not to let douchebags trigger you into being douchebags with them. That's one of the good things about playing golf. You learn a lot of self-control. Don't engage, move on. They were there before you met them. They will be there after you met them. You are never going to correct their behavior. It's one reason why I'm making this video. Help people deal with that kind of shit. Okay? Go on and play your game. Move on. So, now I have to admit that there are going to be times, extreme times, where people are going to think that you're being enough of an asshole to justify them being an asshole. And I will simply say this. Again, it's all in how you do things. If you're playing a tee and you hit a tee shot and you can't make that tee shot, it's not because you're playing a tee that you can't handle. It's because you're learning how to play. And that's part of learning how to play. You are going to learn how to carry those shots. You're going to learn how to deal with carries that are a challenge. You do not learn how to deal with them without trying them. You can hit shots like that all day long on a range. Doesn't help you, because playing a real course is not playing on a range. Those are two different things. And if you never try to carry shots near your comfort zone, okay, you will never develop the comfort zone to clear them. People don't get to be good golfers without missing shots. It's that simple. And anybody that tells you, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this, you shouldn't even be trying to do, you got to understand that they think they're in a position to tell you what you should do on a golf course. Okay? Rule number one, nobody is in a position to tell you what you should do on a golf course except the ranger, except the guys running the course. And if somebody else calls somebody else, you call the rangers come out and talk to you. The rangers are going to talk to you in a reasonable manner, okay? They're going to say, can you pick it up a little bit or whatever? They're going to talk to you in a reasonable manner, and you're going to learn how to deal with that kind of situation. But not taking shots on a course that are a challenge is not growing as a golfer, okay? You at that point, you might as well not play any course that has a carry, because the fact that you have a carry is what makes it tough. The other half of the issue is the wind blowing, or you're picking the right clubs, you have a good lie. There are all kinds of issues, and you will learn over time what carries you can handle. It's not about making it every time. It's about not being a complete jackass about it. And even if you miss it, trust me, roll your cart forward, drop on the other side of the carry. Doesn't matter if you take it. What matters is how you deal with it. That is the issue, no matter whether you're watching somebody play or whether you're actually making the play yourself. So from there, I didn't want to get into details about how to hit shots. I just wanted to get into the details of how to deal with how to hit shots or taking shots. And it's important, I think, to cover some of these very basic issues. As I said, a lot of people don't know how to deal with these issues. A lot of people don't, okay? A lot of people have learned bad ways to deal with these issues. There should be a lot of good tolerance and learning on a course so that people can play and learn and grow and not feel threatened, not get into violent situations, not walk off the course with their heartbeat at 150, not go steaming out of the course, go to the car, get a gun, come back in the course. All these problems that people cause when they start giving other people a hard time on the course. Give them their 15 minutes to play the hole and back off, okay? Don't be hitting up into the group ahead of you because you don't think they should, are moving fast enough or they should get out of your way. You can deal with these things between holes. You can walk up there and say, hey, do you mind if we pass you? Or, would you mind waiting until we get to the tee box and, then we can pass you and stuff like that. And there are going to be guys that say, no, I don't want you passing me. No, I don't want you. You said, you don't have to argue with them, okay? You don't have to argue with them. There are rules for that kind of thing. If you're playing a group, you're a twosome and they're a threesome, they have to let you pass. That's just how it is, okay? Singles can't pass groups, but you can ask to pass. If somebody is, holding you up or you're looming over them on every shot, half the time they'll ask you to pass. They'll be perfectly happy to let you pass. Nobody really wants that kind of stress except people who like stress. And you're going to run into people who are assholes on the golf course, and you have to learn how to negotiate your way around them or past them or whatever. Don't let anybody sit behind you and shell you because they think you're not playing fast enough. You do not have to put up with that shit, okay? You can stand at the tee box silently and let them pass you. Number one, okay? Number fucking one, just let them pass you, okay? And that should solve that problem right there. And if it doesn't, then you have a different issue. Then you might have to call the club and have them send out a ranger to deal with these people. But number one, do not confront people on a golf course. Do not do it. No matter what you think they are or what you are, just don't do it. It's just the wrong way to deal with problems on a golf course. Let it go. And so that is 30 minutes plus, and I think that's enough for how to play golf part 2. 43 minutes. Good grief.